How's it going, Ram fans? Welcome to a very special homecoming edition of CTV Sports. I'm Madeline Davis.
And I'm Leah Cackowski. Here's what we have on tap for you tonight.
Boise came into Canvas Stadium hoping to take down the Rams for the 13th year in a row.
Volleyball traveled for more conference play while swim and dive stayed in town for a huge doubleheader.
Nolan Teubel joins us for a profile on Kate Yoshimoto, while Leah had the opportunity of sitting down with Isaiah Stevens.
All of that and more here at CTV Sports, which starts right now. After 12 long years, Colorado State football broke their losing streak against Boise State with a thrilling 31-30 comeback win, and it was all thanks to the last 4 minutes of play. Homecoming weekend filled Fort Collins with family, fun, and most of all, green and gold pride. Nearly 35,000 packed the stands at Canvas Stadium, making it the 5th largest crowd ever. Expectations were questionable coming into the scene due to last week's poorly played match against Utah State. And most of all, CSU being the only Mountain West team to have never claimed a dub against the Broncos. The doubts were being met through the entire first half, as the Broncos put up a quick 14 against the Rams, and CSU's offense remained silent. They didn't even get a first down until their 5th drive of the game. Jeez. The score was 17-0 going into the second half, and most of the record-breaking crowd had lost hope, leaving the stadium. But the Rams did not give up. I mean, yeah, it was a little last-minute Nancy for some, but this will go down as one of the best comeback wins in school history. Let me just show you the last 4 minutes of chaos. Okay, so again, 4 minutes right here. The unbelievable deep catch right here by Lewis Brown, and then immediately after, right here to Goffney, and then, okay, the moment we have all been waiting for. There's 4 seconds on the clock. 3, 2, the Hail Mary. Oh my gosh, it is deflected and Holker with the catch. Oh my God, the touchdown no one thought would be possible, and of course they had to review it. It was good, and right here we have Noyce with the field goal to seal the deal. Oh my gosh is all I have to say, because the Holker Hail Mary is the perfect memory to sum up the weekend. And it's all thanks to the young talent Valor Nicolosi proving himself week by week. But again, it's still unbelievable that it turned out that way, because Boise ran all over us. Looking at the rushing side, getting bested by nearly 200 yards is unbelievable. But again, we took the cake in passing and yardage overall, for air raid in full effect. Here's who made it all happen. Absolute threat Ashton Genie was everything for the Broncos, and Horton claimed his 3rd over 100 receiving yards for the season. Junior Dylan Goffney was right there with Holker, each ending the night with 85 yards as well. The Rams hit the road again this weekend in Sin City, and here's what Coach Norvell expects going into UNLV territory.
And so this is a really important game. We're going to play UNLV. They have a new coaching staff. I think Barry Odom's done a really good job with this team. They're 5-1 right now, I believe. Had a chance to spend some time with Coach Odom, and I was really impressed. I really felt like they were in good hands at UNLV with their coaching staff. So big challenge for us to go to Vegas and play the Rebs. They have a quality team, and it's going to be a big challenge for us.
Regardless, this is some great mid-season momentum for Colorado State. There's still a lot of work to do, but Norvell and Nicolosi continue to put everyone's doubts to rest in the most unexpected ways. UNLV will be a tough one, so hopefully the Rams bring their A-game come Saturday.
Football was not the only team to find success on Saturday, as the volleyball team had a clean sweep over the New Mexico Lobos down in Albuquerque. Colorado State came into this match riding a big 5-set win against the Air Force Falcons earlier in the week. And let me tell you, the momentum did not stay in the Springs. The Lobos didn't even seem to give the Rams a test until the 3rd set. CSU took set 1 and 2 before New Mexico could even rack up 20 points. While hitting at a .374 efficiency, the Rams were able to close it out in set 3 on a 6-0 run with a final set score of 25-23. 3 Rams hit double-digit kills with both middle blockers Karina Lieber and Naima Weathers, racking up 12 and 10 respectively, and outside hitter Malia Jones led the team with 13, which feels a bit mere after her 22-kill performance the other night, which earned her second Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week honors this year. Setter Emery Herman did what she did best and recorded 43 assists on the afternoon, and libero Kate Yoshimoto led the team in digs with 15. The Rams hope to keep this momentum going in the right direction this week when they come home to take on the Fresno State Bulldogs in Moby on Thursday night.
The wins just keep on coming this week as Colorado State Swim and Dive won their doubleheader against Air Force in New Mexico with ease. Despite their first loss in 2 years last weekend against the Pokes, it didn't dampen their momentum forward in the slightest as they defeated Air Force 276 to 134 overall, winning a total of 8 events. These events were won comfortably as they were able to show out as a group in relay style, and the individual honors were highlighted up and down the roster as well. Moving on to day 2, it was even better. The Green and Gold bested New Mexico by nearly 240 points and won 14 individual events as well as all 4 relays. The swimmers that stood out the most were Inika Johnson, Cindy Van Overmarion, and Tess Weinray, all winning events. This was a great weekend for the Green and Gold, proving they can bounce back quickly despite previous losses. Naturally, they tend to do much better in the regular season than in playoffs, so fingers crossed they remain dominant for the rest of the year.
It was quite the weekend for Rams athletics here on campus, with soccer both kicking it off and ending it on Sunday afternoon with a 1-0 win over the Air Force Falcons.
As you can tell,
the first half was a lot of nothing. Neither team could really get a good hold of the ball, and not many shots were taken from either side. In order to win this match, the Rams were going to have to come out of the locker room with a bit more fire. And that's exactly what they did. When in the 60th minute of the match, none other than Olivia Fout went on to score her 11th goal of the season. This was a big one for Fout, as it tied her with Kaylee Lordeman for most goals in a single season for CSU. As the only goal of the match, it led the Rams to a 1-0 victory to extend their unbeaten streak to 4 matches. Here's what head coach Keely Hagan had to say about Fout and the rest of her team's performance on Sunday. You've got to have goal scorers. That's the name of the game. But it certainly takes everybody. Fout's putting the ball in the back of the net, and there's certainly other players who are getting opportunities. But I'm proud of her execution. The Rams hope to extend their unbeaten streak to 5 games when they take on the New Mexico Lobos down in Albuquerque this Thursday night.
Colorado State cross country took a visit up to Madison to compete in the Nutty Comb Invitational at Wisconsin, and it wasn't their best outing. Starting with the women, they had it the hardest and yet still bested 4 ranked teams, including Syracuse, North Carolina, Providence, and Florida State. And naturally, it's all thanks to Sarah Carter for their placement. She was the only Ram to finish in the top 25, having a 6K time of 20 minutes and 17 seconds. Quinn McConnell and Yasmin Ostrich were other notable Rams, leading in the top 100. The men, on the other hand, there was just no chance, claiming last place out of 36 teams, 17 of them being ranked as well. Sam Griffith scored the highest of the green and gold in the 8K, but still finished at 129. This concludes the regular season for Colorado State, with the Mountain West Championships right around the corner, all the way up in Eagle, Idaho, October 27th. And up next, Nolan Teubel joins us for a profile on volleyball's own Kate Yoshimoto. You won't want to miss it.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
I hope we're doing well, Ram fans. I'm Nolan Teubel, and this week I wanted to look at a position that may not get the same recognition as some of the other spots on the court, but is crucial to the game of volleyball. And yes, I'm talking about the libero. And what a better person to give some insight than CSU's very own Kate Yoshimoto.
My name is Yoshimoto. I am a redshirt sophomore, and I play libero. I've been playing volleyball since I was like 8 years old, so I've gone through a lot of the positions, but probably middle school was the start of when I started playing libero. I think the libero should probably be the most gritty person on the court. So the person you can count on to dive after every single ball, even if it's not in their zone or technically their ball. I think it's someone who is a leader in the back row and can control the defensive side of the ball and be able to be the person that people can lean back on. So the libero is the only person in the game of volleyball who can go freely in and out of the back court. So any player who's in the back row, we could go in for them despite what their position is. I think it's fairly appreciated in the game of volleyball. Like, a lot of the hitters get the big time kills and the big time blocks, but you can't really get those without the libero. So I think people who know volleyball and understand volleyball appreciate the libero a lot.
Let's just say I'm pretty glad I'm not on the other end of some of those spikes. Now, Ram fans, it's time for a little break, but stick around because when we return, our very own Leah Cackowski has a special feature with one of CSU's most influential players ever.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
How's it going, Rams? And welcome back to CAC's Closeout, the first of the semester. Men's basketball is right around the corner, and I was able to sit down with the most anticipated returner of the year. And that's none other than number 4, Isaiah Stevens.
Hi, Leah Cackowski with CTV Channel 11 Sports, and I'm here with Isaiah Stevens, and we're going to be talking a little bit about this upcoming basketball season. So, man, year number 5. That's so awesome. I mean, so tell me, there's so many amazing memories. What is the first word that comes to your mind when you think of CSU basketball?
Family at this point. I've built so many great relationships with the coaches and players, both the ones here now and former players that I feel like they're a part of my family now, and we all keep in touch as best as possible with our busy schedules. But that's probably the first thing that comes to mind.
I mean, yeah, you got to play with some amazing players like David Roddy, Carbacho. How do you still keep in touch with them?
Absolutely. And especially with those two, they always find their way back in Fort Collins, especially over the last few years, just to probably come hang out with me because why not, right? But yeah, I love those two to death, and we've definitely built some strong relationships.
Oh, yeah, totally. And I mean, you've just been such an influential player here as it is. I'm going to talk about one of your big moments from last year. Those 2 impossible shots at UNLV is what they've been calling it. Tell me what was going on through your head when you made those?
Wow. That's really the only way I think I can describe it. Just 2 opportunities that we were able to take advantage of. And I think that's the cool part about the game of basketball is it's never truly over until the clock hits all zeros.
I remember that like it was yesterday. It always replays in the back of my mind. This is kind of an interesting question, but let's say you got to be at as high of a level skill-wise with a different sport. What sport would you want to be as good at?
Probably baseball. I think baseball, man, the money is really good over there. So if I could be a high-level baseball player, I don't know, maybe catch an outfield and just hit a whole bunch of home runs, that'd be awesome.
Would you have a walk-up song?
Oh, if I did, it'll probably be something like Drake-related if I had to pick one, but yeah.
Going kind of back to players that you played with and being here, you said family, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think is the goofiest player you've ever had the chance to play with?
Oh, my, that's a long list. First one that comes to mind is Chris Martin from my freshman year, just a nonstop jokester. Always had the locker room laughing. On a more recent note, Trayshawn comes to mind, just a nonstop ball of energy who's just always uplifting everybody. And right now on this team, Kyan Evans, one of our freshmen, just all day, every day. Just always got a quick joke on hand. So that one's been awesome.
And, speaking of, there's a lot of new faces this year. How's the team chemistry going so far?
I think it's really starting to mesh. Well, we were able to get everybody in here early in the summer and start building that up from day one, and I'm liking the direction that we're heading, but definitely still got some ways to go as far as just gelling and chemistry, but so do a lot of other teams in the country, so I like where we're at right now.
I know Roddy obviously got drafted the first round in the NBA, and I know that was a possibility for you as well. So what was the ultimate decision to come back for a final year here?
I honestly just felt like it was the best decision for me. Roddy was definitely a great leader in that regard of him blazing that path for players out of CSU, and I don't think it's all said and done for me yet, but as of right now, I'm definitely happy where I'm at.
Were your goals different coming into it versus they are now?
I think the biggest thing is just as far as my leadership goes, just being more vocal, being more willing to be vocal out there on the floor, and also understanding that we're all just holding each other accountable as we're trying to push in one direction, which is winning as many games as possible.
And you've dealt with a lot of adversity too, getting out first round in March Madness, losing to SDSU last year, even though they made it that amazing finals run. How do you move forward from that and take it into this season with all of those hardships that could have potentially also been won too in those games?
It just builds a chip on our shoulder. Maybe one that we might have lacked in some areas last year, just continuing to get that hunger back, that fight, that grit, to understand that no matter how good you are, how much talent you have on your team, you got to go out there and earn each and every win. And so I feel like that's kind of the mentality that we have right now, and the toughest part is going to be just maintaining that throughout the season.
What is the best post-win treat that you like to have for yourself?
Okay, so it kind of depends on what time our game is. If we have enough time, Chipotle is my go-to for everything. Pre-practice, post-practice, that's my favorite meal. You can ask anybody on our team. They always know I'm down for that trip. But if it's a super late game, we do a good job of catering some really good spots. And probably Cafe Max, they do a really good job with their burritos and bowls and stuff. So I've always enjoyed that meal.
I think eating is one of the most important things as an athlete, but you got to be able to have fun too. Something you like, but
What do you want to get out of this season for you personally?
Man, I just want to enjoy it. Just be where my feet are, be planted, be humble, just embrace everything that's hopefully in store for not only myself as a player, but our team as well, and get back to what we know as CSU basketball, which is, like I said, an unselfish brand, a lot of winning, and a lot of people getting their praises and just due. So I'm super excited for that, and I feel like we got the pieces to do it.
I've had such pleasure watching you guys, watching you grow as a player. It's been so fun. So thanks for sitting down and have this conversation. Everyone make sure November 6th, Louisiana Tech, here, Moby Arena, right? 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
I don't even.
We don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. Well, let's see everyone then. Thank you so much, Isaiah.
Thank you.
It was so awesome to be able to have a conversation with Stevens of all things basketball and more. And I can't wait for his legacy to continue in his final year here at CSU. And, well, Rams, we're going to take another short break. But when we return, an exciting new segment comes your way with all things the most brutal calls in the sports world from last week. Stick around because you won't want to miss it.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies. Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's put a ride home.
Welcome back from the break, Rams, into another brand new segment we are calling You Can't Do That. In all athletics, there are rules to be followed and consequences that come with your actions when you break them. Here with us on You Can't Do That, we're bringing the ugliest, nonsensical, brutal penalties of the week to start things off. So I'm going to start off with mine. Both of mine are very familiar to us here at CSU as they happened on Saturday night against CSU. This first one, no one even knows what happened. So CSU recovers an onside kick, but they call something here that no one had even ever heard of. They called what was it, like illegal formation and blocking?
Illegal block past 3 yards.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that before either.
And that was our second one.
And that was the second one. And that, and I mean, obviously we all know the Rams came out on top. A miracle occurred. Maybe it was something in the eclipse, something in the moon helped CSU this weekend for sure. But what even was that?
I don't know. I've never heard of that before.
I've never heard of it either. I've been watching football for so long. I honestly was really confused. I was there. I was on the sideline.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. And all of the players were confused. It was just wild. I don't even know. Then the second one that I have from the game is, honestly, I mean, I say that this one is a fair call, but I just want to kind of hear your thoughts about this. Here you're going to see, Boise essentially throws CSU to the ground, but then here comes Jacob Gardner and he shoves the guy from Boise. How did you guys feel about this? Do you feel that he had the right to do that? Do you think he was defending his team, or do you think he went too far?
Personally, I think he went a little too far.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I know emotions are high. It's you just saw your teammate take a pretty big hit, but I just don't think there's room for that. I mean, what happens if you injure him or something like that? I don't know. And I know it's hard. I'm not out there on the field, but sometimes you just want to hold back, and that's what I think he could have done.
No, I mean, I think we were lucky that I don't think on the specific resulting play of that anything incredibly big happened for Boise, but one more field goal, we wouldn't have won.
I know. Well, and again, it was when we were still down 17-0, so it's I could maybe even understand if it was down to the wire, it's oh my gosh, tense, but it's we were losing by that much already.
We were getting smacked. But honestly, I don't know, I kind of liked it. I can't even lie. There was the call earlier in the game with Chase Wilson, and he got ejected on kind of a risky call, I guess. Yeah. So I think he kind of had a right to do it, and honestly, I think it fired the team up. Mm-hmm. I think it showed him that the team, being down 17-0, it's really easy to just shut off and be like, okay, we're out of it,
and throw it in.
But it showed that he cared, and I think it kind of sparked the team and worked in their favor.
Yeah, that is true. And really, as much as I'd like to say that's it, that's the only bad calls, that's not the case. So I chose to look at first the San Francisco versus Browns, where they called the wrong team on the penalty. As you can see here, they call this penalty on the Browns, a face mask on the Browns. Whose hands are on whose face? That would be the 49ers. Thankfully, they did almost immediately call the play back and say, hey, this was on the 49ers, but still, it's just what were you guys watching? How do you see that and you call it
referee. You're a professional referee. Know the teams that are playing.
I know. I mean, something that blatantly obvious. I mean, the crowd was like, holy, that's just, I don't even know how you could get that wrong, but they did get it right. And for the second play, I'm looking at the Bills versus Giants, and this is the last play of the game. There's 0 seconds left on the clock. You have one play to either win the game or lose the game, and there's a no call. This one's pretty controversial. I mean, you see a jersey grab. Ooh.
He's holding onto his arm.
Yeah. And they didn't call that. And the play before, they did get a pass interference, and that's why they were on the 1 yard line with 0 seconds. So it could have been 2 there in a row. And personally, I would have called that a flag.
I totally would have. The Giants have the worst luck, I feel with calls when it comes to that stuff. And again, it's it was a clear holding, clear, on his arm, you could see it. And with that, the game literally was over. The game was on, that could have changed it. And it was, oh my gosh, if it weren't for that one call. So.
And it's bad because when you watched it, the angle that they showed originally, it didn't look like anything, and then once they did show that second angle, you were like, oh, okay, that's pretty obvious. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a win versus a loss.
It is.
And is that a call that can get overturned?
I don't know. With no game time, do they have any? I don't know. Because the game was over. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think they had any timeouts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think it's over. So, which, again, Giants luck, you know?
Yeah.
So. But I mean, and well, to add insult to injury, I'll even throw more on the list. Why not? Of our top penalties of this week. So, okay, my first one is actually, we're going to switch over to baseball. So this is an Alvarez home run because for me, this is just the worst pitch I've ever seen in the playoffs. That is right down the pipe. Look at this. Boom. Barrel is on the bat. I don't know if it was on the pitcher. I don't know if it was on the coach. But that to me is a fastball right down the middle. And when you are already up by that much, it's like, don't get too comfortable. It was the first game of the series. And to make that bad of a pitching error, like pitching mistake, where literally he has been on fire too. Alvarez has been absolutely amazing, and he's a great hitter.
We all know playoffs Jordan Alvarez.
And so it's like why are you even gonna let him get close to it? Like why are you gonna let him touch the ball? Because anybody, like my brother could have taken that as far. Like that pitch was crazy.
I was gonna say I feel like I could have gotten the barrel.
Yeah,
on that one.
exactly.
Like, that was right where you want it.
Exactly. Like that was right down the middle. Like that's a perfect pitch for me as as an ex-softball player. I would have been like, that is the pitch that I want. So for me, that was a pretty just bad call on, the team side, not necessarily on an umpire. But speaking of umpires, you guys aren't gonna believe this. Okay. So in the Phillies game, look at this. I got this from somebody online, and Andy Fletcher had 12 missed calls against the Phillies and the Diamondbacks. These pitches, look at that. That was like 4 feet outside. That was so low. I cannot get over this. This was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from an umpire. And again, in the playoffs. That's like worse than Angel Hernandez. Like if you look up that name, it's just like a running joke in the baseball world.
Right?
I
was just about to say, if this was one of the worst pitching performances, obviously you've never seen Angel Hernandez.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Ump a game. And oh my God! And speaking of like Angel Hernandez versus the Phillies, Angel Hernandez should never be allowed to umpire a Phillies. He shouldn't be allowed to umpire any Major League Baseball game. But much less the Phillies. Like Bryce Harper had that. Like I don't know if you guys saw it. It was earlier. It was right before the playoffs. It was like the last week of the season. He had a quote, and he was ejected from literally one of the last games for arguing with Angel Hernandez. And Bryce is like, it's the third time I've been ejected for being right. It's ridiculous.
And again, it's like another Phillies game, and it's, oh God, and it was the first game. The Phillies, I believe, are up 1-0, though. Still, they've won that game.
Yeah.
And they're playing right now. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We obviously don't know what the score is, but.
Well, Kyle Schwarber's hit 2 home runs tonight, so I think it's looking pretty good for the Phillies.
Obviously it is, but I just think to be maybe a regular season game, you can maybe let that slide, but with those pitches were seriously like 2 feet outside.
I get that the catcher moves back into the zone so
quickly. Like you gotta frame it, yeah.
But it's your job.
That's what you're paid to do at that level.
You can't miss that many, and that's
in the
huge.
playoffs.
Like, it's huge. And
Diamondbacks fans were pissed. Diamondbacks fans were so mad because it felt like all of the calls came against the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
It felt like it was rigged for the Phillies, which I don't know. I don't know. I think it's really interesting. Just like umping in general, it's like it's the only job that I can think of where you can actively be unbelievably terrible at your job and
you're fine.
Like
and when people get so angry, I mean, honestly, it's probably one of the worst jobs because you can never be right. Like you're constantly getting heckled and whatever.
True.
I'm like, if you willingly sign up to be an umpire, then good for you because I couldn't take that much hate all the time.
Some thick skin.
Like you must have the most thick skin. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they should do what they do in the KBO. In the KBO, if they like score each umpire, and if they're like below a certain score, they send them to the minors.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah,
I think that should happen.
And then they come back up. Yeah.
And well, Rams, that's really all we've got for you on this athletic homecoming performance. And what a weekend it was for us Ram fans and sports in general. And as always, have a great rest of your night and tune in for tomorrow for a spooky edition of Ramboozled.